We're in over our heads again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We have
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Coffee Shop Show, where we talk about all things small business, and we do it as a panel and a tribe, sponsored by Sport Protech. Good evening, Peter. How are you today?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. I'm actually looking forward to this topic. I think as we go backwards in the weeks before and we see how all the topics line up, to anybody that's out there, don't just watch a show, check out the topics of the shows before, and it should follow a very complete journey. It makes it a whole lot more comprehensive. It gives you a whole lot more insight. And if you're an entrepreneur out there, then that would be the smart thing to do. Go backwards in the topics, check which topics you need. I mean, we have 4 years worth of content, entrepreneurial, so you can go as far back in the topics as you really want to, and have some fun with it. Check it, get some information on the things that you need to know about. That being said, today's subject matter expert is actually none other than Sondra herself, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I think in my business, I stick to the people that know what they're doing on that particular topic. So it makes life a whole lot easier for me. It makes my space a whole lot easier to run, and it makes life a little bit more simple. So Sondra, I'm going to hand straight back to you, and let's dive into it.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Thank you. Yes, knowing your strengths, knowing what you're good at, and knowing what you need to delegate is super, super important. I was talking to a CPA yesterday because we're in the tax season, and I'm like, am I to the point where I need to have, like, am I over my head? And she's like, not quite. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, you sound very educated. I was like, yay. But I was consulting the expert because I was like, I want to make sure I don't want to do this wrong. So extremely important. Like Peter said, we build the shows on top of each other. It's not that you can't just watch one show, but it's extremely important for us to have a journey, because that's what entrepreneurship is a journey. Everybody's journey is going to be a tad different, and we speak from our perspective as a business owner, in our country, in our journey, all the things. So this is just one aspect of it, or one look at it, I guess, from one angle that it's looked at. That's the word I'm trying to look for. So business plan, we started this topic, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I wanted to break it down into smaller chunks, because I know when somebody told me to write a business plan, I was lost, because, like, yeah, okay, what the heck's supposed to be in it? How are you supposed to do it? What are you supposed to do? And I ended up being in a program that actually taught it for like a month. So truly writing a business plan is not a sit it down, get it done, one-stop shop. Because one, it's a living document. Two, you should take your time and not rush through it. So this week we're going to cover company overview and owner experience, which these two, um, they're similar, but they're not the exact same. So I think people get confused. Company overview is basically an overview of what is your company about? Your e-commerce that sells books on Amazon. Your mission is to educate people on finances or something like that. It's a very straightforward, like it does not have to be this long detailed about how long you've been in business and da da da. It's really about what is your mission, what are your values, what are you trying to accomplish with your business. That's your company overview. It doesn't need to be a page long. It should be short and precise because nobody usually wants to read a um, business plan that's multiple pages. That was one thing I got out of the class. They're like, you can write the 10-page business plan, but I guarantee you 90% of people are not going to read it, including your grant people, your bank people, they want to quickly know what's going on. So this is definitely a short version of it. Um, you know, a mission and vision and values are definitely important in your company because when people want to invest in you or give you money or whatever, they want to know what what are you about. So that's kind of in your company overview, but it can also be in your owner's experience. So your owner's experience is showcases your credibility, like um, what are you good at? Why are you doing this? If you're just starting out, you can talk about your previous employment. Maybe leave out their names, but you can be like, I was a service manager for X amount of years in the fast food industry or something. You can tie your past work experience in with your owner's experience because it shaped you. I mean, it's part of what made you an owner now. So, because I do know, while I was taking the class, we were all in various stages, but startups were like, well, I don't have owner's experience. And we're like, but you do because you work or you have worked. 90% of you have worked. If you're freshly out of college, talk about your college experience. Maybe you headed, I don't know, a study group or you did an internship or um, heck, you helped your mom run a house of 10. There's always something that shapes you as an owner. Uh, so you definitely want to put that in owner's experience. Um, it really is about you. You're highlighting you. This is where you brag. You brag about how you got here, why you got here. Mine talks about the fact that I started using accountability to lose 100 pounds. Like you're showcasing yourself basically. So you need to showcase it in a light that makes you look good and that you know what you're doing. Um, I won't say BS it, but you want to fluff it up enough that it looks like you know what you're doing, even if you don't 100% know, because we all don't. Um, but also in the company overview and the owner's experience, you also want to align it with your target audience. So if you're real vague, I help people, and I've been guilty of that. I help multiple business owners. Okay, well, owners of what? And female, male, like, so getting that into your company overview is important. You don't have to go and like, I help 20-year-old business women who have medium business. Like, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but a little bit of target audience in your company overview again, helps somebody understand your company. So company overview is basically for somebody to quickly understand um, that. So you want to clearly communicate all of that in both of those things and draft it and have somebody read it. Have somebody read it that doesn't know your business. Have somebody read it that does know your business. Uh, yeah, back and forth so that you can see both sides, like somebody that I don't know, find a random person or somebody of somebody that doesn't know you at all, so that you can get different perspectives. Of course, people that know your business is good too. If you have people in your target audience, for sure, have them read it. Be like, hey, does this appeal to you? If you're reading this company overview. Of course, if you know people in the financial world or the grant world, definitely for sure get their eyes on it too. But as we've talked, it's a living document, so you want to go back and look at it. You know me, I'm going to tell you look at it quarterly so that you um, are up to date with that. So something might have changed. Like last year, I went and directions that I never thought I was going to go. All good, but I can put those in my company. Okay, now I'm a licensed insurance agent. How does that affect my company? So um, if I don't review that, then that kind of never gets built back in, it gets built into my company overview. And how does that link into get it done? And why is that important? And all those things. Especially if you're advertising multiple businesses. Um, you definitely want a business plan for each business, but at the end, your owner's experience is going to carry across all those businesses too. So definitely very important when you're talking about multiple businesses. So um, yeah, it's kind of a trial and error. Not, I don't want to say trial and error, but it's really a draft and rewriting and rethinking and so on and so forth because um, I've yet to know somebody that gets it right the first time. Like you might stick to your mission statement or you might tweak it. Like there's parts of it you'll probably stick to the whole time, but you definitely want to, and especially as you grow in your business, you definitely want to go back and showcase the fact that you're growing in your business. Like, hey, I'm now a producer and the host of a YouTube show. 2 years ago, I wouldn't put that in my owner's experience because that wasn't true. So definitely look at what you've accomplished and how that ties in. All right, Peter, save me from my rambling.
No, it's actually it's good. These are things that we need to know. Um, I think from my perspective, a really well done company overview can save you. It can save you from yourself, and it can save you from others. Um, I don't know how many times I've actually stepped into a space and approached somebody and gone, so what is it that you do? Oh no, I own this company. Oh, okay, what does the company do? Um, and then it's just not clear. It doesn't paint a picture of what actually goes on. Do they buy and sell stuff? It's not very, it doesn't quite make much sense. And you kind of leave the conversation and somebody else asks you, so during conversation, what is it that he does? I'm still not really sure. Um, so I think clarity in your overview is very important. But at the same time, there needs to be elements and bits and pieces of yourself and your journey and why do you do what you do in that overview so that the person reading that overview or hearing the overview gets a very strong sense of who you are, why you do what you do, and exactly what it is that you do. Um, it's almost like painting a picture and a complete overview is like coloring it in. You don't want to have an overview where it goes step one, we buy product. Step two, we sell product. Step three, we make profit. Yeah, if that's your overview, then, well, congratulations. That doesn't do much for the way I feel about your company. But if you had said to me in your overview that during your experience as a student you found that there was a lack of this particular product for students, which is why you stepped into this space, which is why you buy this product, and which is why you've built this team that buys in these products and sells these products because you're looking to solve this very particular problem. You might be looking at venturing into new products, and that's the market that you're in. To me, has painted an entire picture of your entire journey as to why you actually do what you do. Makes me feel like, oh my goodness me, this person saw a problem, they're fixing that problem. I already feel a very particular way about your company, and all I've heard or seen is the overview. So you don't think that an overview has to be as comprehensive in regards to just cold facts. An overview is not about cold facts. An overview is about how do you make somebody else feel when they read the overview of your business? Do they understand why it is that you do what you do? Because if they don't, they're not feeling any particular way at all. So I think that's very important. So that when you are writing your overview, make sure you're speaking to the way that somebody would feel about your space. To me, that's very important. Yeah, I think so. Oh, Sondra, right back to you.
So I'm going to agree to disagree. I think it depends on your target audience. At
Yeah.
some industries, if you're putting feelings in it, that's not them. Um, financial and some of those industries, industrial, they're just like, what are you going to give me? Like, what's the end product? So you've got to know your target audience. Because if you don't know your target audience and you're writing it for everyone, then it's going to be a little bit harder to appeal to people. So you definitely want to be like, okay, what is my industry? What do I know about my industry? Do they want that emotional, that super painted picture, or do they want super straight facts and cut out any fluff and so on and so forth, so that you appeal to the right audience? And your audience can change, which is why you have to revisit your business plan. So, but yeah, and that's also a reason why you find somebody in the industry you're wanting to have your business in, and having them look at it from that point of view. Say, hey, look at this from our industry. Like, I sell real estate, so look at this as an investor who'd invest in my business as a real estate person. So knowing those things are going to help you write a better company overview and an owner's experience, because you can say, hey, I went out and talked to these people, and this is where I'm getting my information. This is where I'm getting my research. Um, just to make sure everybody understands, company overview and owner's experience are actually two separate things. So your company overview is about your company. Your owner's experience is about you becoming an owner. So they are two separate parts of your business plan. Do they intertwine? Yes. Your whole business plan should intertwine, but they are two separate concepts on your business plan. And I honestly would think almost all business plans need them. I mean, they're kind of a basic thing of a business plan. I know we did talk about last 2 weeks that not every section applies to everybody. But these are kind of straightforward. What's your business about? Why, as an owner, are you the right person to do the job? So definitely knowing that is extremely important. And yes, you can use AI to help you write these things, but make sure it's personalized to you. Like, I am not against AI at all. But what I see is that most people know it's AI. If you don't personalize it and you don't change some things and you don't edit it to be from your voice. And yes, AI is getting way better. But a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, AI wrote that, not her. So make sure you put your personality into it, your industry into it. Um, AI might eventually be able to write them all from scratch, but in my opinion, right now, no, you need to like edit and make sure it's talking from your voice, your point of view, and your personality. So nothing wrong with using tools to help you get started. But in the end, it really is on you to finish it up. And it's representation of you and your business. So I'm a mama, so to me, like, my business is my baby. Like, I don't, I don't want to just like throw it out in the world and be like, here, and it's a hot mess. So you definitely, here's the chance for you to be like, nope, I know what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. So definitely take your time with your business plan. Like I said, it's not a sit it down and get it done in one session type thing. Come back. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is really important. I think what people need to understand is that when you start out as an entrepreneur and you are developing, creating your space, you take it you take it very personally. Your business is your baby. If somebody comes along and pushes your baby, like, your instant reaction is like you want to push back because you get overprotective and you want to look after it. And if that's how you feel about something that you've put all your blood, sweat, and tears into building, why not go the extra mile? Why not take the steps that you need to take to fully, not only fully understand it yourself, but fully be able to present it to others in a way that is extremely comprehensive. So, and even if we take a look at the financial value of a business. What is this business worth? What is it worth to you? What is it worth to somebody else? Are you building it to sell? Are you building it to keep? Or like, what is your reasons behind why you started in the first place? Was it just out of necessity? Did you just need to start a business so that you could actually make money because you broke? Businesses start for different reasons. but regardless of the reason it starts, you want to pay it the attention it deserves. So take the extra time, draft your business plan, draft your overview, draft your owner's experience, get everything documented, get it in place, because all it can do is create value. It can actually really increase the value of the space that you've built. If I decided to sell Explore Project, I'm putting Explore Project up for sale. Okay, great. What is it? What does it do? What's it for? Why'd you build it? If these things are not in place, then what am I actually selling? A title, a name? No, it's an entity. But it needs to be represented. And I think building up that business plan creates that and the owner's experience and the overview and having that all in place. Going backwards into the finances and having that documented, which we spoke about, was it last week? Yes, it was last week, with Susan. Having all of that documented creates a space that is valuable. Without that information, the person buying it doesn't know, does it work? Do the numbers work? Why was it started? What does it do? What's the purpose? Why would I buy something I don't understand at all? So all you can do by putting in the time is add value. And as time goes by, things change. You modify the document and keep it up to date. And that way it always stays relevant. I think these things, they may seem slightly insignificant, but they are extremely valuable. Not only to yourself, but to your space that you're building, that you want to be so protective over. So take the time.
Yeah, I agree. And I know for me in the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't want a loan. I don't have time to go over grants. I don't need it. But what time has showed me is that it's not just about getting money. It's not about the financials. Yes, that is a huge part of why people write business plans is for the financial part, to get investors or get grants or to get loans. But you can also use it in many other aspects. Networking, you basically have a little mini pitch right there in front of you, your company overview and your owner's experience. Or if you are, in a pitch contest or something like that, a lot of people will ask you for a business plan to get that started. I know one of the reasons I actually also say about updating on quarterly is because not these two sections per se, but you can put statistics in here. So like 75% of people do better with accountability. So if you're going to put stats in your owner's experience or company overview, you definitely want to check those every quarter and see if they're the same, different, better. So that is definitely something that helps when you do that quarterly review. There are people that actually build business plans for you. So that is an actual service. There are actually templates out there too. So in the class I was in, we started with a basic template and we worked our way through it. So there are resources out there to help you. Of course, look at them and see, do they apply to you? And that's where you have to know your business and have to know what you need, what your industry needs, your target audience, and so on, because somebody writing about a tech company versus a coaching company are not going to be the same. Their business plans aren't going to be the same. They shouldn't be the same. A tech company and a coaching company are not the same. So you definitely need, Peter's going to write about networking and, the business program and things like that. He's not going to write about insurance, like you're going to write about your industry. So also important that you take a look at an industry specific business plan template if you go that route. But I do know those resources out there. And I didn't know that in the beginning. So I was like, I can't write this. I don't know what needs to be in it. But there's definitely things out there to help you with that. And of course, in the show, that's what we're helping to, is to show up to point out specific parts of your business plan that most are going to fit your be needed in your business plan. I won't say everything exactly, but a lot of those. I still think these two are definite in everybody's. So go ahead, Peter. You're so funny raising your hand.
Yeah, I'm just doing it to let you know. I'm not doing it to go, oh, I want to speak, but I'm just letting you know that I've got something to say when you're done. Um, yeah, I think when we say business plan template, a lot of people automatically assume that they just provide you with an entire template with a couple of blank spaces and you just fill in a little bit of information. No. A good business plan template will require you to fill in a lot of information because it's going to ask you the right questions. When something's asking you the right questions, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but you have a particular problem and you go to somebody, and the more you speak about it, the more you realize you've just answered your own problem. Like really good coaches will do that. You'll be like, oh my God, thank you so much for helping me. I got all the answers I needed. And the coach would be like, oh, I didn't say nothing. That was all you. And I think a really good business plan is exactly that. Um, it's about going on this journey, even if you're using a template, taking the questions that it's asking you very seriously, that you really want to give it your all to answer the questions, because guaranteed you're going to learn something about your own space on the journey. And not only will you learn something on this on that journey, but find you will find answers that you were looking for that you didn't have before because you took the time to do a very comprehensive business plan. And I think that's important. I mean, sometimes we have ideas in our head as to what our space is and what it does and how it does it. But the moment you are tasked with documenting, you take a look at the processes involved and you're like, oh, wait a second. Is that actually necessary? Oh, actually, am I missing something here? Something's not quite right. This doesn't quite line up. Or I don't have an answer for this. Why don't I have an answer for this? I should. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing something here. Oh my, I'm not doing that at all. Oh, no wonder it doesn't make sense. So if you're not learning something from your business plan, then I don't think you're doing it right. I think it needs to be. You can consider it like a very short learning journey about your own space, and then afterwards it gives you the ability to present it in a very accurate way. And that's what it is to me in a nutshell.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. And one of the things when you do answer all these questions to business plans, it also helps you write your website or a landing page, um, gear your social media the right direction, because it makes you look at what you want your business to do instead of working in your business. And I've truly been guilty of working in and not on. This business plan is working on your business. In a particular way. But it can be used for so many different things besides just, again, I think business plan, everybody's like, oh, okay, that's for funding and da da da. No, it's not. It can be used for many, many, many different things. Um, uh, you know, you got your mission, your values. So maybe when you're hiring subcontractors, you want them to, hey, read my business plan. Make sure you agree with what I'm doing before you come work for me. I mean, you can use it in so many other ways that that's not just strictly funding and so on and so forth. So Mr. L is having internet issues today, so he asked a question though in the live show, um, and this one's interesting. I'm going to answer it the best I can. So his question is, if your company is multi-pronged in its offerings, how best can you personalize your overview? It's a really good question. I think if it's multi-pronged, and mine is, so I get where he's coming from. I think the owner's experience is still the owner's experience, and you can talk about your different experience and different aspects of those prongs. So if you're, I don't know, if you're doing shipping and you're doing coaching, you can be like, as a coach, I've learned blah, blah, blah while doing shipping. So you can weave them. I think you can weave them together unless they're extremely different. Um, then you might have to have two sets of business plans. You might need a business plan for that particular industry or that particular prong. So you could go either way. You could either interweave the owner's experience in that, I think the company overview, you might want to dissect that a little bit. I don't like them super long, but you might want to dissect them um, a little bit. I think with mine, I put that I help people by facilitating workshops, coaching them. Like I put kind of a summary of how I help people um, by the different methods that are my prongs in my business. So I think that's kind of how I did mine was because yes, I was like, oh, okay, well, I've a VA coach, speaker, workshop. They're all under Get It Done. Um, life insurance agent, it's way over here. But anyways, the others are under GID. So yeah, I interwove that this is how I help people be productive. This is how I can help you is by doing any of these services. But they are similar. So I could see where if it's way, way, way different, that it would be a little bit harder. But yeah, that's a really good question. And I think you kind of have to do trial and error or ask people that are in some of these different industries how they do theirs. Lots of people have one business and multiple divisions of it. So find somebody like that too would be helpful and be like, hey, how did you tie this all together in your business plan? Or did you? Did you write some separate business plans for separate prongs of your business? I think there's enough out there that you could definitely find that information. It might take a little bit of research, but it would help you write yours appropriately. So hopefully that helps, Mr. L. What do you think, Peter? Do you think it's all in one or separate or
Yeah,
depends?
I think it's actually a really good question. And it's actually quite an interesting one. And I'm going to leave it at the fact that um, everybody's different. So one person might have a business with multiple avenues that might need to be separated because that's how they feel about that space. And but then the same person with exactly the same setup with exactly the same space might feel to actually bring it all together. So I think it's down to personally what works best for your space and how do you line it up. Is there a way to line it up? Yes, you can pretty much line up anything. I've dug trenches in the middle of the desert, planting tar poles for a telecommunications company. How would I line that up with what I do today? Well, it created this learning experience where I got to learn how to communicate at a grassroots level. And the communication ties it together. So you can tie things together, but it depends on you personally. Do you want to tie it together? Do you want to keep it separate? Or it also depends on your business and the space that you're in and your audience, who you're talking to. Maybe if you try and tie it together, it might look too complicated and people just don't quite understand what it is. And keeping it separate might make it a little bit more feasible and understandable and direct and, oh, okay, we understand. If you're trying too hard to join it together, then you might want to realize that you probably shouldn't be doing that. Because it's hard enough for you, then it's hard enough for everybody else. But if it's easy to make it fit and flow, then I'm pretty sure you can run with it.
Right. I agree with that too. But I also, but give feedback. Like send it to people. Send it to people in your industry or people you don't know, people you do know, or people you lightly know, and be like, does this make sense? Say this is what my business does. Does this explain this? Like, is it apples to apples or is it an apple and a prune? Like, do they match? Um, because I was thinking about it like a website wise, you can list your services and they can be all over the place, or you can have a page for each service. So same thing with the business plan. You can have them separated or you could have them together. Kind of like a website, you might not put I don't know, financials in with coaching. So maybe you have two separate websites. But owner's experience, I definitely think you link all of them together by, like you said, doing this helps this. This is why I do it. And this avenue. But yeah, I would definitely play around with both. Like you said, if it becomes too hard or too complicated, or I want to think that it was somebody said that business plans should read at like an 8th grade, 9th grade level. They should not be these college MD dissertations. Your business plan should be readable by a high schooler. Okay, most high schoolers are very knowledgeable, but still, it's not, you don't need this business plan unless you're in a, I don't know, Fortune 500 top CEO. Like that's different. But most of us, small business to medium business owners, your business plan should be, people should be able to read it and get your concepts without having a master's degree or PhD. Like seriously, it does not, don't make it hard. Don't make it so hard that nobody understands it but you. Um, Same with, in your industry, you use the language of your industry, but also if you gave it to somebody outside your industry, would they understand it? It's kind of my feeling on that. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, even if I look at my own situation with the Explore Project and the Business Academy Cafe, both spaces are designed for very different purposes. Do I bring them together? No, 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 no. I keep them very separate. Do those spaces feed each other? Yes, they do. And they should, but they have different purposes. So I think once again, like down to your personal preference and your personal preference, and sometimes your personal preference is not what's best. So you got to have it both. It's got to be your personal preference and what actually works. So I think rather figure out what actually works and then try and include your personal preference into it in some shape or form. But don't try and put your personal preference all over it if it's not going to work. So I think, like Sondra said, show it to people. What do you think? And like she said, people within the industry that know, they know how they want to see it. They know how they want to feel when they read it. They know, do they want the fluffy stuff? Do they not want the fluffy stuff? They know, like, hey, you've gone overboard here. We can tell how your heart beats, but we don't know what you do. Or we know exactly what you do, but you come across like an ice cold axe murderer. So find that balance. If you're speaking to the right people and you're getting the right feedback, then you can take your personal preference, because I know for a fact that a lot of us entrepreneurs and business owners, we all believe that our space is like the best. Nothing else matters. Everybody else's spaces suck. We are the best, and we have a very particular viewpoint of our space in our heads. But that's just the problem. It's in our heads. Let's get it onto paper. Let's document it. Let's build it out. Let's learn about it. Let's learn something about what we're building, modify, change, perfect. Otherwise, your business is just in your head, and it's got to come out of there sometime.
Exactly. And your brain's made for processing, not storing. So if you're trying to store all your business plans and all your business ideas in your head, they'll come out, but they might come out in a hot mess, tangled up, and it's going to take you a month to untwine them. Don't do that to yourself. Like, it's called closing the loop. So you start loops all the time. Every day you start loops. How many do you actually close? Because once you don't close them, and it's just like wires in a junk drawer, we all have that junk drawer, we throw all the wires in, and then you go to pull out a wire, and you have a big old ball of wires. And you're like, okay, depending on who you are, I will sit down and untwine them. My husband will be, where's the garbage can? Like, so there's definitely different ways you can come in that perspective. But it's important. It's really hard for somebody to help you in your business. And I firmly believe that it should never be a team of one, ever, 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 ever. You should not be an island. But it's really hard for somebody to help you in your business if they don't have something they can look at. You verbally telling them is one thing, but a lot of us, I'm a reader. I want to visually read something versus you talking my ear off. Like you can still explain it to me, but I want to read it too, which is different learning styles, so on and so forth. So that's another reason I have a business plan. Like, hey, I want to come support you. How can I support you? Well, I do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand. Can I read it? or do you have a website or a business plan? So that's another way that a business plan can be extremely important, is when you need help, whether it's funding, contracting, investors, people, resources, whatever that is, you kind of have to know what the heck you are doing, so you know what you need. When I always ask in coffee chats, what are you needing? And I'm like, and you can't say clients. I want something very specific. Oh, I need somebody to run my Facebook community. Like, everybody needs clients. Fine. That's a blanket answer for everybody, but tell me exactly what you need. I need somebody to manage my emails. I need somebody to, I don't know, book speaking engagements. Like, there's something you need to get you to clients. What is that missing piece? And I've had a couple people go, oh, I don't need anything. And I'm like, okay, I don't believe it, but okay, that's great. But that's part of knowing your business plan too, and answering the questions, like Peter mentioned earlier. Answering questions are amazing. Is an amazing way to get information out. And yes, most people do know what they need. They just need the right questions asked of them, which is also why I provide the brain dumping service, is to ask those questions and help people get out. And yes, 90% of me, like, I answered my own question and I literally just took notes and asked maybe a clarification. People have a million ideas. It's just a matter of getting them out of your head and onto paper, recording, whatever method you like to use. But yeah, that also leads to business plans. So got to kind of get it out of your head, because nobody can read your thoughts as of right now. In this day and age, who knows? But yeah, go ahead. Peter,
Um,
we're gonna wrap it up here in a few.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'll keep this very short. Recently found myself in a space of needing salespeople and having to find the space that have got the salespeople in it. I cannot rely on just the thoughts in my head for the salespeople to understand what my space is, what it's all about, why it exists, and what problem it solves, unless I've actually built out said business plan, built out the owner's experience, and built out the overview. Having that information on hand when you bring in maybe like 10 or 12 commission-based salespeople, for them to get an understanding of the space before they get an understanding of where the product comes from and then who they're trying to sell it to. So, so by creating this as part of your business plan, you're not just creating a document that goes into a drawer. You're creating a tool that actually helps you present your space to the relevant people, whether it's potential salespeople that are going to be selling your product, or whether it's potential investors, or whether it's so it becomes extremely helpful, because then salespeople, especially commission-based, they want to know, so they want to have answers to very particular questions before they can sell your product. I think it's a really good road to travel to actually create this document and have an understanding of what do people actually require? What do other people require to understand and know about your space before you try and build out something that just exists in your head, and then you get it onto paper, and then you present it to people and they're still as confused as what, so I think templates are a good way to go. If you're starting out, a template is a really good way to go. But make sure it's a template that you're not just filling in the company name.
Exactly. I like the fact of the questions, not blanks.
Yeah.
I really like that. Also specific to your industry, and you can look up coach. I think mine was life coach business template or business plan examples. They are out there. Universities publish them all the time, so on and so forth. That's where I got mine at. Was a community college that has an incubator program, but they also had somebody, the expert, come in and teach on business plans. So yeah, they're definitely out there. Don't go down a rabbit hole and spend millions of hours looking for one. I mean, find one, test it. If it's not right, move on. Same thing with the business plan. You're not going to spend, yes, you need to spend time on it, but don't get stuck on writing the business plan and never do your business. There's that little caveat there, like, oh, I don't have a business plan, I can't run a business. Well, guess what? I did mine for 2 years before I ever even touched a business plan. People do it all the time. Like people run with ideas. So don't think that a business plan should not stop you from doing your business. It should help you.
Yeah.
It should help you. I think those are the keys to that. Super grateful for always having an opportunity to talk about topics that help entrepreneurs start their business, grow their business, refine, review, and so on and so forth. Special shout out to Susan, who is behind the scenes making sure we all look good and our links and everything are in the show notes. She does our show notes. She turns this into a podcast on Spotify. So please go listen and give us a rating. And of course, share our show on here, like and subscribe so we can reach more people all over the world. We are international. Peter is in Africa and I am in the US. So we have people in Canada, UK, all over the world. So we are definitely an international community. My name is Sondra, and I'm under Get It Done Coaching. I help people reach their goals by creating bite-sized action plans, finding them the resources, getting the things out of their head, helping them do a quarterly review, and a little bit of everything in between. So, oh, and we want to thank Somerville. She helps Peter a lot to get things done. She is his administrator, which is extremely important, and it's important to me because then it helps us too. But she's amazing, and we all love Somerville for many, many, many reasons because she helps us all look good and get things done. So, Peter, can you take us up, please?
Yes, I think without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think it might be a good idea to put it out there. If anybody's got something that they're not too sure about within their business and they want it discussed as a topic, reach out, and then we'll push it through the panel and we'll come back with as many relevant answers as we possibly can. Let's see if we can't help you solve your problems. Other than that, may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true.